Hello, Neil.
Jing, how you doing?
Good, good. Happy holidays.
Yes, it's also tree-raising day here at the Thompson household.
Uh,
You know, you're
Very
living
good.
the Great White North when you go out and buy a Christmas tree 2 weeks in advance and leave it outside so it doesn't start deteriorating in the freezing weather, so you can put it up when you want it.
Ah, good. Free storage. Hmm. Let me see. Let me check our Discord. All right. I guess this is the our last meeting for this year. Hello, Maki. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, Wenjing. Hi, Neil.
Oh,
Yeah, see, Nikki can't make it, but that's
yeah. We may not have a lot of people, so let me find the. Ooh, okay. So I need share this. That look correct. Okay. So I I don't know whether it's you, Neil, that suggests that we should do some like I don't know fun stuff for this meeting.
I
I
think it
didn't
was
have any fun stuff, but I did have the uh, agent to create this meeting page for me. So this page itself is entirely created by a little coding agent, I think.
That's cool.
Huh? Yeah, that's good. Especially, I thought it will have time to, sorry, have difficulty to change the dates because I'm basically saying, oh, create a new one for me. And it knows it's weekly and know what to copy and all the dates, everything. It changed correctly. And also the minutes too, because this number need to be recalculated, right?
Hmm.
So that's really good. It also added like little things like, oh, this last meeting, this thing it just added by itself. So that's cool. Um, and if you recall, this was uh, so in the last meeting, like this line would be a December 4th, I guess. And I know this need to be rolled over for another week. Yeah, that's kind of nice. The difficult it has is the column. Apparently, the language that the conference uses, um, it's not straightforward apparently to adjust the column. It has to write something I don't quite understand. It wrote a little bit of program to do it. So I thought it's interesting. It can, but the new content you still have to tell it.
I'm going to be posting something in general after this meeting. I'm having an increasing problem finding meeting minutes, meeting agendas, and content that, like we've got the Google Docs folder that has, work groups and whatever else. I've got links to some things that, I've got links I've saved, but when I go looking for it, I can't find that if I don't have a link. Um, and one of the things I found a bit surprising for the steering committee is, the last minutes or anything else are from sometime in August on Confluence. as well as
Oh,
meeting
so they
agendas. I'm
stop
like, where are the
updating it.
agendas? It's like, there's something going on here. Um, so
Okay.
I'm just going to post that as a general, someone needs to, look at steering committee artifacts as, because I also know that there's several different Google folders.
Oh, the
So
Google
one is
photos
the
are the worst because there's no way to search. I can never use the Google photo. I can never find it.
Yeah, so one thing I do know is that there's the working groups folders, working groups and
Yeah,
task force folders, and that's all
yeah.
separated out. But there's a completely other one. So there's one thing I found a document. I said, okay, tell me where this is located in the space, and it's off some ToIP resources, and I'm going, where's that? But I do know that um, uh, back
Because
when
the
there's several
yeah,
different routes.
because the Google photo has to be in TOIP somewhere, and there's no like easy to remember address. Um, and just
No, it's just
you
like I
cannot
said,
search either.
there's several different routes past which like
Oh,
sort of
oh,
like there's
I understand what
there's a
the
route
routes. Okay,
and you can't it blocks you from navigating back to more of the true route. So you've got
okay,
different subfolder sets, and I'm going, okay, so I can navigate to the route for a particular document by walking back through it, and I find that's a different route from this stuff over here. So it's getting a little confusing.
yeah, yeah. Now
So
relate to that. I think I had a note in the very bottom. Yeah. There was a talk of moving away from these things and use GitHub instead. Now that would make the bots really happy because they know GitHub the best.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
well, I
Actually,
guess the problem I have is does it scale? Right. Because
Yeah,
GitHub was not intended to be, a single repository for all the documentation. That really doesn't scale. That's what you have a folder system for. A hammer and a nail, everything. Hey, I have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. GitHub solves all my problems. It might work for a particular workforce or a work group or task force to put all the issues and stuff in there. I mean, I'm doing the same thing over on Diff for the hospitality and travel profile work.
like a scaling
I did
as in some people don't know how to use. Oh, hi, Steven.
Well, it's two aspects. One is
Uh,
people knowing how to use, and you're locking out anybody who doesn't eat, sleep, and breathe GitHub. And you know, I've been forced to actually do that because I'm building a GitHub repo myself. So that's been a long learning curve. Um, but the other problem is what was GitHub? I mean, you look at the kinds of project I'm looking at for Diff, and at some point it's going to separate into a central repo which coordinates from individual repos that are handled by smaller
I
development
see.
teams,
I
right?
see. Yeah.
So there is a model for GitHub says you don't necessarily use a single GitHub repository for everything
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because at some point there's just too much traffic in the issues and discussions and whatever else. Um, so there's a happy medium here in terms of coordinating across working groups and stuff that other people who are, have access to all of Trust over IP saying, "Hey, I'm looking for something in a work group. I'm not." It's like you don't need to know which GitHub repository to go to.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
actually the good thing about GitHub that you can create templates, which is good. I think at least for frequent users, you can create templates for minutes of meeting, any
Mhm.
other templates you would like. But the thing is about the user's preference. So we might have some users who are not, familiar or do not want to use even GitHub. So for many reasons. But I think in GitHub there are many possibilities, including, also deploying agents. Like as Wenjing mentioned a little while ago,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
think is
That
pretty
that
useful.
Yeah, the main benefit, like I can think of, is so for Stephen and German, we're just chatting along, not on the agenda, but on the my experiment to generate this minute page, the agenda page, purely by a chatbot. I think I was using Anthropic. So this whole page for every number, everything was generated by a chatbot. and then we started talking about the formats, etc. And I recall there was a discussion about moving from Conference to GitHub, and my observation was that most of the chatbot are well trained to use GitHub, but not as well on Conference. It's still good enough. So one case in my try is that the adjusting column apparently is not straightforward. The bot had to write some program to do it, um, which is fine. But uh, anyhow, so that's what we just chatting along.
Can I
Eric,
just ask one question about that?
Sure.
I'm fascinated that you said the bot had to write a program to adjust columns. So to carry out the task you'd asked it to do, it had to write a program to do that. Is that right? Do I understand that right?
Yeah. The bots are very good at these now. So it knows very well. Oh, this is, um, there are certain language or tools you can use for easy adjustment things to do, but the rest of them, they know they cannot do it, or the limitation with the underlying API because they don't use the human interface. They use whatever
Right.
yeah, and they know the limitation of it for really well. And they know how to get around it. It seems like if there's require a program, they will do a program.
This is my reaction is sort of go, that intelligence is not artificial. That is friggin' pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's why,
Yeah.
like, if you want to do hacking, these bots are really good at, right? Because it knows all these limitations or loopholes somewhere you can, what works, what doesn't. They seem to know
Yeah.
very well. Yeah.
And it also sort of exhibits a certain, call it scrappiness. It's like, I'll just figure out some way to get it done, right? It's not necessarily, yeah.
Exactly. And and some tools they are very good at. Like a Git, that's why GitHub is a tool because they need to do programming. So naturally, that's the first thing they
It
train
makes
to do.
sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently,
Wenjing,
conference is okay.
where was the bot? Was the bot part of Confluence, or you
Let me.
asked Claude
Okay, so if
to?
this is interesting, let me share with you the conversation I had. Maybe this is of general interest. So this is the interface I was with. Um,
So it's Claude in the browser, right?
yeah. I'm just coding. So these are easy ones. This is a very easy, very time saving good. So I say go back to all the minutes and summarize a retrospective for me. And so this is on the right side is the document is produced.
wow.
Where is it getting the data from?
Or the conference. So you just show it. Here's my working group. Actually, I didn't show what I said. There's a ToIP AI and human trust working group, and you'll find it. So let me see. I started with.
So it was able to research the URL to get to the anchor
Yeah, it will
and to go
read
find the
things.
pages.
Yeah, it will actually. Yeah, I have to
Right. I
go
know it can
back to
search
where I
URL.
started.
I know it can scrap or scrape URLs, but the page that gets written, is it written on the right and you copy paste it into Confluence? It's not actually creating a Confluence page.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
This page is a MD file. It's right here. I didn't. You can copy and paste it, of course. But the earlier when I was showing you the page for today's agenda, it writes it. Conference allow you to write it. It's
So
straightforward.
Confluence lets the bot write into Confluence to
yeah,
actually create
how
a
does that
Confluence
work,
page.
Wenjing? That's fascinating.
Okay. Let me go back to. So this
I
record
thought
the
you need
entire
permission.
history. I decided not to tell anything other than I can type in the prompt here. Let me see. Where should I get started? Uh, this early day in the beginning, I was trying to install something. I think it will start with uh Start with somewhere. Okay. Oh, maybe I'll start here. So I need to go config, do a configuration. That I have to do it myself. Once that's done, I don't know even it's working. It seemed to know it's working. So that's interesting too. Kind of a meta thinking.
How did you do the configuration?
Oh, configuration is just going to the this particular software cloud and then settings. And in the settings, you need to say allow. There is a kind of like an MCP server, and one of them said Confluence. And you just click enable. That's
Okay,
fine.
okay, it's
Oh,
MCP.
so it's
Okay,
using an
okay.
MCP connection to Confluence.
Right. So that step I have to do myself.
I
And I'm
got it.
just so
Okay.
earlier
Okay, so
before this, the chat is about where do I go do? Basically, I have the question, what do I need to do? And it trying to tell me what to do. And once I did it, and then I ask, is it working? And it knows it's working. It immediately tells me, oh yeah, we are connected as me, and blah blah blah, a whole bunch of things. And then uh, go do a test. I say do a test, list conference spaces, and goes into testing mode. And looks good. And then I say, can you find the AI and human trust working group? And it finds it. So I don't need
Yeah,
to go
nice.
look myself, right?
you had to give it credentials though, didn't you?
No.
Oh no.
Which
Are
means
you kidding me?
which means that
That's
Oh,
actually really not good.
if you've authenticated in the browser session, and you're doing AI in it, it's got a backdoor pipe, doesn't it?
yeah. See, you didn't see me doing it, right? Well, no. Here you go. When you click it, maybe because the clicking and that step happens in the browser space, just like Neil said. And my browser remembers who I am.
So, in other words, when that Confluence page was ultimately written, the meeting notes page you showed us, was that the the
I,
Claude basically sending you the page, and then you hit it's your account
it,
that's writing that to the
it, yeah, it may not need that because it's going to usually the very last step when they need a human input
yeah.
goes to a browser space. And if the
Okay,
browser automatically remembers and how to log in, a lot of browsers do that already,
sure.
then you don't feel it, even though it's happening.
Oh,
But
I
you had to
see.
log into Confluence at some point for it. You had to give the MCP your Confluence credentials.
Yeah,
Not
but
everybody could write in Confluence.
if the process goes into the like you log in through a browser, and the browser already remembers and do auto
Okay.
log, then you personally don't feel it, even though all the procedures are happening.
Okay, so
So,
it was using your account to write.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, all
Because
right.
my browser, like I go to conference, it don't every single time ask me to log in.
Yeah,
Sometimes they
yeah,
do,
yeah.
I don't know why.
Exactly.
But if they're not asking, they basically the browser is automatically using the credentials to
Okay.
log.
All right.
so,
That
so I
makes more
just wanted
sense.
to ask in terms of the URI, do you give it the exact URI to the Confluence or just the generic Confluence website?
The conferences are organized as what they call space, right? So it doesn't need to know it's the trust over IP is a separate space, and that require a separate login.
Okay, so you just include it as a connector within the MCP, and then it's already reading the backend and your access to Confluence through the web browser.
Yeah, so Conference has an official support for MCP, and so they have a URL actually says this is my MCP connection point. Some systems don't have that, then you will have to run a equivalent server yourself locally. But in the case of Conference, you don't need to do anything. You
That's
just need
cool.
to say, I want it, and that's it.
Yep. That's cool. That makes I mean, it makes sense for Atlassian to have developed that MCP or whoever did it, you know, gateway and what, you know,
Right.
module, whatever you call it. I'm not familiar with the terminology around. Well, it's an MCP server, right? It's just, I mean, my overall understanding, I'm not deep in MCP at all, but as I keep seeing it referenced, I want to test this basic summarization of any system that has an API. If you build an MCP server for that, it basically serves as sort of the modern AI version of what adapters do in integration technologies, which is the MCP server understands here's the API I have to deal with. And therefore, when an agent talks to the MCP server, it will take whatever the requests are and then do the mapping and take care of the interaction with the actual API. And then the results, it communicates back to the agent that was calling the MCP server. Is that a correct description?
Yeah. I think that's a correct description. MCP simply is made this web page, a particular API, particular kind of login, etc., all wrapped up and made it available so that if the LM for some reason want to access that, it would know how to do it.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's it really started to click for me and seeing the proliferation of MCP is that all right, it's basically this agent wrapper for an API.
Hmm.
And so therefore anything with an API could have an MCP server, MCP connector, whatever. Is the term always MCP server? Um, when you
That's the name the MCP protocol calls them servers.
okay, MCP server. Okay.
So the client is on the agent side, the server is on anything
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I think it's really interesting because it seems that anyone who's subscribing to Confluence is automatically subscribing to MCP.
It's not automatic. I do have to, basically, this step is a configuration one. I do have to configure it myself. You do have to say it and agree that you're not going to use your credential to use this system. Yeah.
There is consent. That's really great.
There is a consent. Well, that is a explicit step you will have to do. So there is that step. The second step is once you start to trying to, for example, write to it, it would ask you, do you want me to write for you? And you could answer yes or yes for all, and then basically will never ask you again. But basically, there is another way to decide, if it's going to do something on your behalf. Do you want to say yes or no? So there's that as well.
Cool.
So in a way, so this is just configuration. Once it says it's working, we did some, it automatically says, do you want me to test it? And I test it and seems to be working. So I then say, there is a working group there. Can you find it? And they say yes. And actually, they listed our names, etc. And then, yeah, there you go. So members, all that. So if they found the top page, and then I said, go look for the last two meetings, December 11 and the 4th. And then I asked it to create the new meeting page for a week later. And basically, I think the amazing portion is it does all the time adjustment. Like, the dates need to be added a week. And I added a agenda item in the middle of it. So you need to subtract some time from one row and add it to the new row, etc. All can be done sort of correctly.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's very nice.
That is freaking impressive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, I say, can you copy the December 11 meeting and then change the dates? That's all I said. And automatically know it's a week.
Yep.
So the hours didn't change, the date, changed. And then I don't like the format because it's the formatting or the bullets disappeared and it's adding the bullet back. Let me see. And then want to get the column portion. Oh yeah, so here's another one, has a bullet, it's not right. Um, and then I think the width, right? The column width need to be adjusted. So this is the portion it goes into do something weird. I don't quite know. I don't know. You guys know what is ADF format? It goes
I do
into,
not know what
Page,
ADF.
it's a page size.
oh, okay.
Oh, page size.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, but whatever the
Like,
thing, it shows up, these all very weird, low-level code-looking things pumps up. I don't quite understand. Anyhow, so that's something. So then you can say, can you save it so that every single time, next time I can just say a word and you would do exactly what I need, right?
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, and then it teaches me how to do it. See? It teaches me a sentence, say, going forward, just say this, and it will
it's
repeat.
like a macro, like an old
Yeah,
school macro. You give it a name and it plays it back.
yeah.
That's brilliant.
And you don't
That's
have to
brilliant.
remember exact name. You just need to say
Right.
something close to this. It will know what to do. That's
Are
also
you
very
able, like
cool.
in code, to modify what it's writing? Like if you don't like something, can you go ahead and change it? Like in source
Oh,
code, right?
yes,
You can
yes,
go
yeah.
change it and it'll say, "Oh, I see you changed something. Let me see what you know what that does," or something like that. So sometimes it's too painful to explain to it to do something. You just want to do it
Easier
yourself. But
to do it, right? Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't tried myself, but I know in programming they do it. Like in GitHub,
right.
you can the
Yeah,
two people that do it at the same time because you need something
yeah,
like GitHub to sort of do things in parallel. So depends on the document format in Conference. Well, Conference allowed multiple people doing in parallel. Some probably will
yeah.
not. Yeah, yeah.
So the page that you have on the right is a preview of what it's writing. But if you said to it, write it into Confluence now, instead of preview, or who cares if it's a preview or not, would you be able, do you think you'd be able to interact with it then? Let's
Yeah,
say
I
it
have.
put in the people who attended last week and there's somebody new this week. You're not going to start explaining, oh, go add a member. You just rather go into Confluence yourself, do an edit like you do like pair programming, right? Like you'd go in, add Steven's name as a new member or something, or a new attendee, and it would not erase it.
Yeah. So we could say, um,
No, I want you to go add it to the Confluence page now.
oh, oh, me
Go
to
add
do
in
it?
Go or something,
You
or
mean
put my
copy?
name if I'm not there.
You mean copy and paste into it?
Oh, I thought it was writing the page itself.
No,
Oh, okay,
this
okay,
particular
okay.
page, I'm asking to summarize. I didn't say to write it. I could. That's what I'm trying to do. I could ask it to
Oh,
write.
get it to write it, and then it's because it's like code, right? It doesn't know the difference. It's English instead of
It's yeah.
Rust. Who
I
cares
think
what it is, right?
this one is the MD file, so it's yeah, it's code to them.
Well, yeah, it's perfect then, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
said go create the page in Confluence now, then you went and you edit it, would you be able to pair edit?
Pair as in like any
Pair, like
modification.
just like if both of us were to get onto the same page in Confluence and we were editing,
Mm-hmm.
like taking notes or adding names or something, would it be
Mm-hmm.
the same thing? Would it be, it should be just like as if you have an AI assistant, right?
Yeah, it's good to test, but it's because its writing is very fast, so we may not be able to inject, like for example, we can intentionally go edit, trying to edit exactly the same spot it's writing,
No, no,
but
no.
we
I'm
may not
saying
be
do
able to
separate things.
replace
Like
that.
you, no, but the use case being, somebody joins the call and you want to go add their name to attendees,
Right.
right?
Correct.
I I
Can
think
you
you're
both
asking. I
edit?
think you're asking for a little bit too much attention from the part of the bot.
Well,
Um,
no, I don't think so because it does it now. I mean, in
Well,
code, when it with in coding, you could both. It lets me work on the code that it's working on. It gets offended sometimes because I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Uh,
but by
It'll
just
let me
looking at the
do it.
changes you made in its output for it to
yeah,
figure out
yeah,
what you
yeah.
did, that's
I
just,
would assume it would be able to do it
no,
because
that's,
conference allow parallel editing, so the tool will know whether it will be aware that somebody else also editing and react correctly. I don't know. That I
Oh,
haven't
I'm
tried.
sure it will because the everything changed. The source changed. It's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
know that it changed because it doesn't
yeah.
have. It has like a cached version, right? And now the cache doesn't match anymore, and gets jealous. It's offended by that. The human would intervene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I thought this would
That's
be a
great.
great sort of like
Yeah, that's great.
setting to, to link the things we are doing. But I would assume that because so at the moment this is only connect to conference. If we connect to Discord and Zoom, then I think we'll be able to do real things, stuff, interesting stuff, right? More interesting. Like for example, adding the attendees automatically, for example.
Well, like you
That's a
said,
zero.
if you add the MCP servers for Discord at least, start off simple, right?
Yeah,
You could probably ask it to update anything relevant to that meeting,
correct. So all the,
right? So somebody follows up and said, "Oh, here's a link we are talking about today."
yeah,
You
it
should be
will be
able to
able to
do
do
all that.
better than that. It will be able to probably summarize all the interesting points that happened in the Discord and put a few bullet points into the meeting agenda.
Right. Like
Exactly.
right now, what you do, right? You manually go and you're looking at Discord. You say, "Oh, Steven gave a link, Drummond gave a link, Jeff gave a link, whatever." You could say,
Mhm.
"Go into Discord, find any relevant content to today's meeting since that meeting, and update the document." And this would
Absolutely.
be always a living doc.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
And further,
fantastic.
next step would be like to have the bot to join our meeting as a participant as well. And so there are different steps that we could go to.
Let it chair the meeting, and you don't have to show up.
Or you let it record the last. You say go watch all the videos with Neil in it and inform an opinion on any topic.
I would definitely want to go do that. So in a way, I
That's
thought this
great.
is an interesting thing. Um, And yeah, so essentially this is the same logic as a programming bot.
All right.
Again, the limitations may be how well they are integrating with Conference or Discord. In comparison, GitHub is a much better integrate tool at the moment.
Yeah, this would be much better if we were doing this in GitHub, not
Correct.
in Confluence. At GitHub, it would be fantastic because it would not have these formatting problems, right?
You
It's
will know
everything's in
a
Markdown,
lot of detailed things in GitHub very well. Exactly. Because
and
there'll
it's
be
going to
a
be
lot of more
easier
people
for
using
it
it.
to, yeah, and it'll be easier for it to absorb the content because like Confluence, the pages must be so full of code. Just so this is what you see, right? But if
Yeah.
if it's in GitHub, everything's Markdown. It's like can't get easier for the bot than consuming Markdown. It's like the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
thing
yeah.
for it.
And these bots do need time and data to start to learn the new
Yeah.
tool. So you add too many new tools, it gets, harder for it.
Yeah, I would love to switch to GitHub to do this stuff instead of Confluence. Like,
Yeah, but
Funny thing
Um,
is, I have to say this, we just convinced LFDT to let us stay on Confluence so we didn't have to move all of our stuff to GitHub.
well,
oh,
and to the
I
point I
would
was
vote
making
for that.
to the point I was making earlier, GitHub was designed around a small team of people working on a particular topic. It does not scale well for trying to cover off. And in fact, I'm in the I was mentioned earlier, Drummond. I'm working on this travel profile project, and I'm currently the only developer actually cranking out JSON schema and whatever else, and using various AI tools to assist me in building all that stuff in GitHub. And they said, okay, at some point you're probably going to break this out because you're going to have like multiple teams working on this worldwide, of probably 10 to 15 people in a particular travel segment, you're probably going to want to move to GitHub for each of those and then have a central coordinator that pulls all the pieces together and does, shall we say, a compile of the total schema. Because those parts need to deviate independently and have their own development schedule and release schedules. So using GitHub for absolutely everything, like having one big GitHub repository for all of
Right, but you wouldn't do
trusted
that.
IP, that's not going to scale. I don't think so. It just you end up with way
Well,
too much
no, I
traffic
mean, but
through a
yeah, but
single.
that's going to be the same in whether you do it in Google Docs or whether you do it HackMD or Confluence. You can't have one huge, massive repository. It has to be specialized. So the good thing is that you can create, within your repository. I mean, within GitHub, you can create multiple repositories, and the AI will be the thing that syncs it for you. Like if all this stuff was in GitHub now, and you had the same, the GitHub Copilot doing this for you, as I'm sure it could do it, although I do like Claude, I'm sure it could do it. I mean, imagine you give it access to the repos, what it could do for you. Especially in there's other groups, like within the trust or IP, world, there's other groups, there's a lot of overlap. Like we had that thread from Stephen Kern. I don't remember what he's talking about, but it really had nothing to do with AI, but it was in the AI group on Discord, right? If you had something watching over, it would notify whatever other group was relevant to that discussion he had. But it wasn't really so much about, it wasn't about AI at all. What Stephen Kern was talking about. It was about TSP, actually, right? And he was making a case why whatever they're doing is as good or as TSP. Well, something like GitHub and Copilot would be able to say this conversation should be in the TSP section.
Yeah,
We testing?
I'm testing one more thing. It's going to see, this is the kind of thing is going. So it's basically um, starting to
Yeah,
working
but
on it.
what if you disagree with the bot suggestion? You got to make a comment to it. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry. I'm sorry, bot.
here
I
is
think
the permission portion of allowing, but it takes some time actually. It's not very fast. Now, finally, it's done, and this is not very good, right? It's hard to read exactly what it's doing, but I just
But that's because
politely,
it's Confluence, right?
yeah, because it's conference.
There's so much formatting text, like so much code in the text. It's so hard for it to strip out what's semantically what we're talking about.
Yeah, there you go. Here's
There you go.
Please ignore
Did
the
it
man
update in the
behind the
right?
curtain.
it knows that I'm concerned about the columns, so it's reassuring me the columns didn't change.
Sensitive to your needs.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my demo in a way.
all right,
I
Winjing.
love it.
I need you to identify yourself as a human.
That's the wrong working group. That would be the Drummond's group,
Yeah,
decentralized trust graph, whatever you call it.
essentially as a human trust graph. Okay, let me put
Very
the
cool.
yeah, let me put the agenda back. Let me see. So that's more fun. Well, I need to do maybe refresh probably. Did it show up?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's very nice and done. And yeah, so lots very good. It's a very, useful tool, right? And and the best part is I don't know, next time if it give me how to do it next time. So it looks like hey, this this step can be
Try it
automated.
now. Hey,
I'm sorry.
generate next week's agenda. Do it now. Play it back, the macro. Say, I'd like a meeting agenda for next week.
Sure, let me. So looks like we like that better than than the agenda page. Let me go back. Uh, so the next meeting. it goes into this program again. And that's mainly because conference wasn't designed to be like fully automated. It's really for human use, right? So it has this weird stuff, all kind of things. I don't know enough of it, but apparently easy, like a simple formatting, it will know how to do in MD. But anything more complicated, it seems like you have to go to this low-level code.
Just for fun, it'd be fun. It would be interesting to see it do the same thing in GitHub.
Yeah, yeah,
It would be much, it's got to be much faster and cheaper.
probably, yeah. I added Happy New Year to it apparently.
Good, good for you.
So it knows to avoid religious content.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It didn't say Merry Christmas.
It does have a little Christmas tree here. Okay, sorry,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Happy holidays.
shifting. I have to
Yeah.
shift this back and forth. Let me then go back to the Google Chrome page.
No, I just double checked. I think the cloud has an extension to GitHub, but I'm not sure if it really access.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well,
GitHub has an MCP server, right?
Yeah, yeah, and also GitHub is much more heavily used, so I would assume
oh,
that is better equipped. In
Yeah.
theory,
well,
conference can do the exactly same thing. It's just a matter of, investment you put into it. So here's the new page for January 6th, and it knows the new year, so that's all good. And here's the agenda page, everything. Where's the Happy New Year? Oh, here, Happy New Year right here.
Mhm.
So with regards to the suggestion to do something with GitHub, GitHub has so many different features in it, repositories, teams, issues, whatever, pull requests, code. What exactly is the thought to use it in GitHub for things like this?
It will definitely be so that's the question. I don't know, German, you guys had a decision to say no. Is that the
well, like I said, the one thing Confluence does, just like the file repository on Google Docs, is it provides you a place where I can navigate across all the topics that are going on and get, I can look at minutes, I can look at agendas, I can look at, what are the mandates for each of those groups, who's participating, et cetera.
Mm,
If you file that off into a whole bunch of GitHub repositories, now you're counting on, okay, well, I mean, let's put it this way: coming from a data analytics and database background, to ask the right question, you need to know something about the structure. You need to know
right.
something about what you're looking for. If you don't know what the structure looks like, you can't ask a question or other than saying, I'm looking for something like this. Can you help me out? So any specific anything, any question is going to be very specific. You can to ask the right question, you've got to know about 85% of what the answer is going to be,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
part of just
Right, but if you
showing off
structured
into
right, but if you structured a GitHub account to have, let's say, a repo for every working group, then that one account, the Copilot would have no trouble going across every repo.
Yeah, but my
yeah,
question is, what kind of content is in the repo? Is it discussion or is it code I mean, I can understand asking about to help you summarize content in a repo. I'm just not sure what kind of generative stuff would come out of this along the lines of making up other documents.
So
Well, we
Jeff,
don't
in the
use
same
GitHub
way
for
we did
anything.
in the same way the Confluence works, for instance, you can create a template within GitHub for minutes. So it helps you, track the same way we do in Confluence. So I think based on the query, you can just ask, for example, like provide me a summary or prepare the next agenda. So I think it would work in the same way. Also, as Stephen mentioned, like if you have like a well-organized repo, so I think the query should be very specific as to what you would like to
Yeah.
extract.
All
But I
right.
think more or
Okay.
less it's
That's fine.
yeah.
I guess I understand. I guess that this is exceeding the way that I use GitHub as a code repository.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of top-ups happening these days. Like, for example, like the Trusted AI Agents group in Diff is using it also to do minutes of meeting.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on types of usage you would like to have
Yeah.
beyond
This
beyond code. Yeah.
this sounds like a Microsoft ploy to me.
Copilot.
Well, it's that or Office. Take your pick. I'd rather do it in GitHub
Uh,
than
I
pay the
would.
Office gods.
Well, I'd rather, I don't know. I think that if we there is a certain, in investment strategy, you want a diversified portfolio. Anytime you put all your eggs in one basket, you're going to be subject to the whims of that basket.
Yeah. Well, it's also I think it's good to challenge the boss to work on something less
Oh
familiar.
yeah, no, this is very interesting, Wingjing. I'm just kind of troubled by it more than I mean, it's very impressive.
Right,
But it's like
right.
I put this note in here about a Wired article about this guy who couldn't get an interview with Sam Altman. He created a deep fake version of Sam Altman, started talking to it like the guy in the movie Her, and got attached to it.
That's sick.
Um,
Anyway,
so
One, I
maybe
mean,
you
one of
know
the
that
advantages of giving it too much knowledge, whether it's going to be, you could probably do it in Confluence too, right? But let's say with GitHub or Confluence, it would be interesting for someone to interact with the Copilot, let's say,
right,
because there's a lot of stuff that overlaps with, let's say, the trust spanning protocol group, with the carry group, with the AI group, right? So we're
correct,
very siloed, but when somebody doesn't understand something and they're not into that silo yet, they may not know that silo exists, right?
right,
So if you
right,
gave a general question like, how is AI gonna, what does Trust over IP think is gonna save AI,
right.
whatever like
So
that,
one
right?
thing,
It would know enough to go find the research and say, oh, I'm gonna extract it from this working group, from this task force, from
exactly,
this, and
exactly.
so
I
on,
thought
and come
that's
with a consolidated answer, not a unique. Because now, if you want to do it, it's really difficult to find
it's
a
difficult and time
general
consuming
yeah,
too.
answer that
Yeah,
covers everything, because like Neil said, I have to know which working group to go into to start
yeah.
searching
right.
for data, and then that search bar is actually quite useless on top.
I'd love to see a discussion between a bot and Sam Smith.
Oh, that's a
Um,
That would
scary.
be funny.
that'll be-
I think the bot would give up.
The bar goes into that. I run out of my contest window.
The bot that's going to run out of tokens, going to keep charging you. Sam
Oh
could
my
cost you a
gosh.
fortune.
So we could, for example, start doing is ask the bot automatically summarize what's happening in the decentralized trust graph working group, in the diffs working group, etc. And
Mhm.
just 3 bullet items
Yeah.
every week. That's very useful. That's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
can
That sounds
Mhm.
useful. That sounds useful.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that
Can
brings up
can
the sort of
Claude now search the others? Sorry, Wayne Jing, if you ask Claude now about the other working groups, can you say what's going on in the other working groups that would be
Oh,
relevant to
oh,
AIM?
I can ask you to do all, and we'll just go do all. You can
Right.
say check all the working groups in Trust over IP, and for each of them, if there's some meeting happened in the last week, give me no more than 3 bullet items of
Yeah.
summary.
But that
And
That's
requires that
relevant
you but that requires
to
that you're a
AIM.
member that requires that you're a member of those groups and can give it the credential to do so.
no, no, you can say
No.
go find all the working groups for each,
Right.
all of them. Yeah, and only if they had a meeting in the last week and do this.
Well, assuming all the the meetings are online and publicly in wikis.
Of course, yeah.
I'm
It
just saying
has to
that there's
assume
some,
They are.
yeah.
yeah.
They
It
are.
will be harder to read the we can still do the video watching too, but that will be harder. The video is so long and
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
Well,
think
I'm
the
gonna
Discord
try.
use case is very relevant. You could say what's happened in Discord since the meeting that's relevant to this meeting.
Exactly.
yeah.
That helps save a lot
Because
of
I know
time
like
anyway.
like in the ecosystems and governance working group, we don't take minutes. We don't bother with that. So there went our wiki pages are just kind of like, yeah, an event happened that day. This is maybe what we
Uh,
talked about.
Yeah.
There was a presentation and there would be the recording and the transcripts would be helpful, but you know, I wonder if you could ask it to go through the transcripts, because right now you have to download that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
So
a lot of the transcripts are created by AI and have errors.
the other thing is, I don't know whether we can take it, is that these bots can do very good criticism.
Mm, yeah,
So
they're not biased.
they are not, if you ask
Well,
them to criticize,
they may not be biased. It depends on what they've read.
it's going to do really good criticism. And that is kind of hard to take, but maybe you want to do it, privately.
Yeah.
I love
Well, I
it.
can certainly use an AI bot's help with Discord. It's a lot more going on there in all these channels, from a Slack guy.
It's a
Right,
mess.
right.
Yeah, yeah, it's a mess. It's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So, hmm, I think, anyway, interesting stuff. But pretty soon we're going to be bots, bots battling bots.
But that is correct. Yeah, you if you have a debate, you want the boss to be on your side, and we can pick a different boss and debate.
Well, here's the thing. The AI LLMs take in text that they read, by Google searches and access to things. And then the AI bots are putting out stuff that gets posted. Pretty soon, those bots are going to be reading other bots' output. You're going to get this kind of this
Right, and that's the problem because a
volatility
lot of
of
people,
truth. Yeah,
right. So a lot of people put out published content generated by the bots, by LLMs, whatever. It turns out they're not true or accurate, let's say, and the bots take that in and they don't know if it's accurate
yeah.
or not. It's just content. And now
Pretty
you
soon,
have kind of like, the dog eating its poop.
yeah. Pretty soon,
That's
pretty
going
soon,
on
we've already
now.
landed on Mars.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, with
So,
some people that should be
oh
encouraged.
well.
Yes. So we are looks like this is enjoyable and we're running to over the time now. The plan is then our next meeting is January the 8th. And again, the current discussion about this working group, what we should focus on the exact deliverable. I think we can still have all the fun discussions in every direction, but also maybe we can identify a few things we want to actually accomplish in 2026. And the spreadsheet is right here. Please add your comments or your ideas on there. There's a lot of interesting things. We have some that's more concrete, like the um, MCP over TSP kind of a thing. There's some great ideas to start with. I really like the discussion about relationships, about I think using AI like we see into our work. And so all those are, I think, very interesting topics. We need to still discuss more and flesh them out so that it come into a shape that is can be formatted into a deliverable that we can do. So that's we can pick that up January 8th next year.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. Meanwhile, I guess the use of these bots and also how to sort of like use MCP to connect them. And we can immediately identify where they do, how they do log in today, where that happens. I think this can help us, all our working groups, kind of a ground into more like what the real steps are happening. Mostly they are integrating OAuth into it. That's what these groups are, these companies are doing is to integrate OAuth into it. So if we have a human identity, and I would very much like to understand how this would integrate into these schemes. And so one of the testing I would very much like to do is integrate the TSPUs and MCP as you see, right, into this scheme, and then we would have one of the tools. I don't know which one. We can pick a tool we feel useful, and then implement a TSP-based MCP server for that. And then you will see the new kind of a workflow for authentication or any kind of a hole we identify in this scheme. So that I think can help us ground. It's not theoretical. You can see how it's going to work, and you have a comparison too. So hopefully next year this will be our kind of a laboratory. Any kind of work we do, we trying to fit into, fit in is the wrong word, trying to see it in action in some context that's real, right?
Sounds good, Jing. Y'all have a happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and all the rest of the stuff. See you guys.
Yeah. Happy holidays and happy chatting with all these bots.
Happy bot chatting. Yeah. Happy bot
Happy
Christmas.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't like tried recently and had a like long chat with the bots, I think if you have like a half a day to kill or evening, there's nothing else to do,
Hey,
do that. And
already
it's
did that in Second Life.
amazing. You have
Yeah.
to try the latest, okay? It's amazing how long this conversation can go.
Yeah. By the way, perplexity.ai is a platform that does cite all of its sources.
Right. Yeah. Perplexity is specialized on that thing now. It's
Right.
really good. What is citation?
Gemini does it too, though. I mean,
Yeah,
when you search Google, it'll give you the links also.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you
most
can
of
also,
us, you can explicitly ask it to cite, and it will do it too.
you can also
Right.
ask Perplexity AI to summarize news stories for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. See you
Yeah,
guys.
Perplexity is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that was fun.
All right. Cheers, all.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
You bet.
See you
Happy
next
holidays.
year.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.